I thought that was so cool last night. Take us behind the scenes of how all that came together.
Yeah, look, the NHL's, I think, doing a really good job. I love the fact that they put this format together in the middle of the season. It's a risky thing. I think for guys who have injury during the long year, it might be a nice respite. But for everybody else, you want to keep playing, and you have an all-star break, and this takes the place of it. And I think what they're trying to do is thread that needle, say, hey, I want something novel, but I also want something meaningful. And when they changed the format to 3-on-3 in the all-star, it really was refreshing. But man, this is an international game, and people have their pride. And I'm in Montreal right now. In fact, I'm snowed in here at my hotel. They're getting a bit of a storm, and the amount of interest in this when you walk into that arena was overwhelming, and it'll be the case in Boston as well. A lot of Swedes there to cheer on their team last night. This is what the NHL is, an international game, and the amount of talent around the world makes this tournament particularly intense.
Yeah, Mike, obviously great having you on, and an honor to get to talk to you. I know he talks about former goalies. For me, I kind of have that imposter syndrome when I get to talk to a guy like Mike Richter, so it's pretty cool. And, obviously this is a cool moment. I think last night getting to see you on the ice and with all the other legends and then the young stars, the captains, take us behind the scenes a little bit. What was involved in, getting to be a part of this, and how were you chosen? And I guess it's just such a cool thing seeing all you legends out there with everybody.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't really answer the first question. Is the NHL saying how do we set this up? How do we make some kind of connection to what the heck this thing is? And having people that played in international competition that are actually obviously representing their country, and then have notable careers in the NHL. It's amazing. And you quickly walk down the hallways of the Bell Center, and you become, you have your own imposter syndrome. There's 24 Stanley Cups or whatever it is there. You got Mario Lemieux, this is royalty in our game. And it was an honor to be there, clearly. And I was, fortunate enough to play on a couple national teams, junior national teams, and the World Cup in '96, which was last played here in Montreal, which was an awesome time. It was at the beginning of the year, not punctuating through the season, but the big question then, as it is now, is are the guys going to take it seriously? This isn't quite the Olympics. How do you get these guys revved up? And I can tell you, about 15 minutes into the first practice, we were dialed in. It was unbelievable. You're starting in the middle of the summer, so the skill set's not quite as high as it would be, in February. But they asked us to just join and kind of have that, I don't know, that thread from competitions past to now. And I think it was pretty seamless. It was a really cool moment.
Did it bring back memories? Like, what went through your head as they call you out there on the ice?
Yeah, we were laughing in the room before going out. I guess you like the booze, because as Timo Solani was saying, that means you're doing something right. So look, it was a really interesting thing that you can turn off that hatred valve quickly, right? I played against Mass and Leachy and I were on the U.S. team, both Rangers, playing against Mark Messier, Adam Graves. You quickly turn and say, all right, my job is to make sure that they don't win, and we do. And it's surprising how intense that can get very quickly. And then you turn it off because they're your teammates, and you embrace them when you come back to play wearing the same shirt with, in this case, the Rangers. But that's going on all over the league right now. You got guys blocking shots. Hedman took a drive yesterday, and you got guys sliding in front of it. They play on the same damn team. Nobody wants to get hurt out there, but you do want to win, so you're going to sacrifice yourself. And I actually was talking to Billy Guerin last night for the U.S., and he just said that the guys were so excited to play the game, and that's exactly what you want to hear. This is a game of passion, and when you're representing your country, you have a big motivation to do it right. And so these guys are professionals. They're going to go out there and play as hard as they possibly can. Look at Sid Crosby. How unbelievable is this guy? I mean, just such a treat for our game to have somebody that amazing after, that kind of torch passing from the Mew in Pittsburgh to him. And he's out there, whatever the heck age he is, doing what he does on the ice and taking every moment of this particularly seriously. It's a good lesson for everyone.
Just a vintage performance for Sidney Crosby. 3 apples in that game. Not to mention, again, he missed the last 2 games before the Four Nations break due to injury. Just comes back, doesn't skip a beat, plays with his pals. Just, it's so Crosby. You got a chance to talk to Auston Matthews last night?
I did, and he just honestly just couldn't be more likable. He's just, he got a big boo when he came out here, and there's many reasons for, he's a Toronto player. He's an American. There's just all kinds of good reasons to boo if you're a Canadian, but there's a lot of reasons to cheer. This kid is just, 4 goals in his opening game as a pro. Every time I watch the damn highlights, this guy's doing something special. And he's a likable guy. He seems to have respect from around the room. If you're a hockey fan, you got to love him. Yeah, you can boo when he's got the other flavored shirt on, but just, there's a guy I was saying last night, I'd pay to watch these practices right now. These guys are that good, and to see all that talent on the ice, and he is one of the guys in the world that leads the charge. It's an honor to be out there on the tarmac with him.
Yeah. What did you think last night about the game in general? Just like Team Canada's game, where it's at? Like it's such a unique tournament, right? There's such a short window to get ready. You're bringing guys in together, and I guess what's your takeaway? Someone that has experience, who's been in these sort of situations.
There's no hesitation. There's no feel out, right? Swedes have such a good team and played such a good team game. You're like, wow, there wasn't a lot of shots going on there for a little while, but that creates its own kind of challenges. Like I thought Benedine did such a good job in net. Tons of pressure on him. Go in there and make sure you don't lose. Like they're expected to win, and so I don't think he had a shot in the first 12 minutes or something like that. But then when they come with, these are skilled players, so they're going to come. And he made 2 saves in overtime that gave them a chance to win. Like I really thought he played unbelievably. I thought the Swedes did too. Once they got their legs under him, you take a penalty against this Canadian team, which really is going to influence how tentative you might be or how aggressive you should be. And that passing is ridiculous. So it looked like the Swedes could have been run out of the building in the first 5 minutes. But they're a great team. They're a patient team, and they came back and almost won the game themselves. So I just think it's going to be these punch, counter punch all the time. And the momentum does shift. Like you could feel it in the building. Like, oh my God, they scored that second goal, the Swedes. And you're like, wow, we have something going on here. They scored the third, and it quieted the crowd. So there's too much talent out there for someone just to get rolled over for sure. But I think it's all just no goalie, no team, no special team has a moment to say, we're going to come around with our system in a couple weeks or a couple periods. You have to be ready to play immediately.
In support of Sick Kids, KPG sends us this super chat. Really appreciate it. He wants to know your favorite memory for the 1996 World Cup of hockey.
Man, there's too many. This is going to be a little bit of a weasel answer, but there's too many to have one. Of course, winning it is what you're there for. But I will tell you that I mentioned Billy Guerin. He was a big part of what my special memory is back in '96. Just the camaraderie, the players. You have to go from rivals to a family very quickly, and even more so now. And they're doing that. They're finding ways. Guys that compete all the time, statistically, head-to-head in games, they have to embrace each other as a family. And the quicker you can gel as a team that supports one another and takes different roles than you might normally have. That 3-on-3 last night, you have guys sitting on the bench with how many points? You have to be able to figure that out and do it with a smile. And we on that 96 team came together so quickly and had so much support for each other that that was, I think, the difference maker in these tight tournaments where everybody's loaded with talent. You have to figure out your character, and you have to figure out how much you want to win for each other very, very fast. And to me, every one of those guys are great friends on my team from 96 because we found a way to figure that out in the locker room, and is led by Billy and Kachuk. Both those guys were so much fun to be around that we enjoyed coming to the rink every day, no matter who we're playing or what the situation was.
Now, Mike, I know you're a leader, and I know you deflect it, right? And you talk about the team, but you were the MVP, right? You were the MVP, and I remember watching you, and it was unbelievable. And we just need some clarity about your MVP prize, your winnings. And do you still have it now?
It's a great question. Somebody asked me, I had to think twice. Oddly, they were giving out a Harley Davidson motorcycle. and it was amazing. Like, the tournament happens fast, and obviously you ask anybody, all they care about is playing well and winning, and we did that. And so then you get this Harley, and we went out and had a few drinks and a party afterwards, and you kind of don't think about it. But then at some point it's like, hey, are you going to pick this thing up? And I remember Mess going, hey, buddy, you don't get a second chance on one of these things. Why don't we think about giving that baby away? And so we did. We auctioned it off for the New York Fire Department, which was really cool. They gave me one of those, FDNY hats with 35 on it, and we created some money for a fire department fund, and it was great. People bid it up higher than its normal cost because the charity was a really worthy cause, and it was a nice thing. I didn't crash. Someone got a cool motorcycle, and there was money made for a charity, so all of it was good.
And it's amazing. I've been waiting like almost 30 years to ask you that question. I remember Don Cherry bringing it up at Rock'em Sock'em that you won a Harley. And all these years later, I get to ask you that question. We'll leave with this. It is a goaltending conversation.
Yep.
I would love for the Americans to donate a goalie to Team Canada, by the way. But I want to just get your opinion on the state of U.S. goaltending in general. And, of course, the team we cover in the Maple Leafs have a pretty strong 1-2 tandem right now with Anthony Stolarz and Joseph Woll. Well,
I mean, I think it's kind of a microcosm of Canada generally. Look, they've dominated the elite players in the world forever. And, when you're the king, you can't go higher than that. You're going to have people chip away at your market share, if you will. And that's happened in terms of forwards and defense. You get guys coming out of Latvia and Germany and all over the world that are learning the game and increasingly becoming great players at an elite level. And that has happened. It seems funny, though, when you talk about goaltending, it's almost, you think about Canada's always been that dominant country, and then Quebec, especially Marty and all the great goalies that have come out of there, Patrick Roy. I mean, it's incredible. But then, every country has seemed to take its turn. Finland, the Swedes, obviously, and they don't go away, but it just might be an emphasis. And right now you have a good, really, really strong stock of American goaltenders. I don't think there's gaps in any team. I got to be honest with you. Only one player's in the pipes on any given night, and it's just a matter how good is he going to play that night. No one in this tournament's not a good goaltender, and all of them can steal games. Who's hot at this moment is all that counts.
You're the best. It's been great catching up, Mike. Get home safe. Appreciate your time today. Enjoy the tournament, okay?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, great to talk. Thanks for having me on.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Roseau. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.